I'm Lucy, and today on Van Life with Lucy I'm going to do a teeny van tour of my DIY van conversion. So this is my van!
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Turn this room, turn it to an ocean. Let me float around. Eyes closed, like we're dreaming even when we're not. You and me got a whole other meaning, I don't know how.
DV Maxxis. I picked it up for 850 quid. I was on a really tight budget because I was still renting a flat and stuff at the time, and I had the intention to do kind of part-time van life with it, so live in it for about 6 months of the year intermittently. So I didn't want a massive van, I wanted something little that I could use as a daily run around as well. So feel free, we're going to jump straight in. So this is the cab, and where I spend most of my time driving along. The only thing really for modifications of things that I've done in this particular area, because as you can see it's quite a big area, it's quite a big cab, is that I've re-felted the roof here and painted it, because it was just an old plasterer's van, so all the grime and the dirt and things was just a bit icky, so I stripped that all back. And that there's a cable which runs underneath this rubber matting underneath here, and actually goes into the van engine just through a little hole underneath my unit here, and that's going back to my leisure battery because I've actually got a split charge system. So that's really good because it means that when I'm driving the van it actually charges the leisure battery, but then when the van is off or it's in stationary it means that it doesn't draw from that leisure battery, so my leisure battery doesn't run dead when I'm not using it. So yeah, so that's the only thing really about the front. So this is my living room slash bedroom slash kitchen slash bathroom slash yoga suite. No, so it's just basically, I didn't want a fixed kitchen and I didn't want a fixed bathroom. I wanted the versatility of the space, so it means I can use one area for lots of different stuff. The reason for that is because I've got about 16 cubic meters overall in here, and because I've got such a tall garage bedroom storage unit, because you might be thinking, wow, that's quite a high bed for such a little person. Well, you're not far off there, because underneath is where I keep everything from my wardrobe, where the caddy toilet goes, which I've got for my bathroom unit, but it's also got a mountain bike and sup storage garage. So that's the point of having this unit here. It is the kitchen. I love my little kitchen. I made all of these units using repurposed wood, which is why you've kind of got the warping and the bending just here, because nothing was freshly bought. I used literally like repurposed ply. This is pallet wood that was going to be burnt. And I decided to do that for cost, but also for waste, and I wanted to reuse as many materials as possible. So on my doors here, how I've made this unit is using an old piece of kitchen worktop from someone that was stripping out a kitchen on Facebook, and I was like, oh, can I have a piece of your worktop please? So I just turned up and jigsawed a piece off, and I'd measured it out because I wanted to have a bit of a gap just here between the bed and behind the driver's seat, so I can push the driver's seat forwards and backwards, and it gives me a nice little shelving area here which I can use. So it's got my pots, my pans, and I've also got magnetic strips in here as well, so I can use the storage space for all of my cutlery as well. As you can see, I've actually got my electronics spaced out of here as well, so you can see, we'll get round to that in a little bit, but I've got a night heater and my leisure battery there. A lot of people have it in the backs of their vans, but I didn't want to do that because the back of my van is for my mountain bike and my sup, both of which are wet a lot of the time. So electronics and wet, I didn't want that, but I did want it to be somewhere accessible. So the inside of my kitchen cupboard was somewhere that I could negotiate as a secondary space. Okay, up here I've got two little storage boxes. I didn't want to use too much wood again, because the wood that I managed to reclaim, I wanted to put into kind of more structural stuff. So I wanted to use some adaptable and adjustable storage up here. So if I don't like it, I can rip it down and it's at no extra expense. These are made out of office trays, like file in, file out. I've covered them in Hessian, and then they're attached using these little hooks and a bit of string. Underneath I've got a little brace, a little bracket underneath, so it's nice and steady, it doesn't move. And then I've actually glued a lot of my spice jars underneath. I don't like using single-use plastic, so I didn't want to start taking loads of plastic away with me and then having to, when I run out, to buy some more. So I like using refillable product like produce, so I can fill those up. So underneath the bed just here is a really comfortable repurposed retro 70s like storage cupboard that I've managed to like save. These drawers were going for £5 on eBay, so I went and picked it up from a reclaiming wood place. Just replaced the doorknobs on the front and just gave it a bit of a white emulsion over. But it actually has really great double deep drawers, which are brilliant because I can bring them all the way out. And when I'm away, that's easily like my outdoor things, my sports things, and then like casual wear and any bits and bobs that I need for extra stuff, like a first aid kit and things that I want that are super accessible, so I need them in a hurry, so I can just whack open the door and just take it from there. So yeah, like my toothbrush and bits and bobs. On this side, as you can see, it looks a bit odd. I've kind of got something with some feet. That's because this here is actually a slide tray, so this is where my mountain bike would sit. And it's also, the back of this area is also where I keep my 12-volt mini fridge as well, so that sits beautifully there. Okay, so that's storage underneath the bed, kitchen storage, over storage as well, with those two cupboards over the kitchen unit. So underneath here is also a brilliant storage area for wet, damp, muddy boots. So the back of the van is pretty cool because as soon as I open it all up, you can kind of see. So again, very DIY job. I've built the back doors very inexpensively with some free pallet wood. And then, like I said, I've just got a little brace on here that you can see of where I've screwed in all the individual panels. And then I've got some heavy duty, because pallet wood is so much heavier, I've just got some heavy duty hinges on there as well to keep it all in place. So on this side, I tend to keep things like my climbing shoes, pairs of trainers, and just like different, anything else that I need that needs hanging. So if I'm going climbing, I'll put my climbing rope up on there as well. But this back space is where I tend to keep a lot of my water because of that weight distribution fairness of the kitchen being that little bit heavier. I've got the night heater in there and the electronics. I try and even it out a little bit by having a little bit of weight on this side of the van. So I tend to put I've got some water barrels that I'll put in there, so they sit behind there, and it also gives me nice space as well, so I can just shove anything in there, like food or anything, bits and bobs and left over. Whereas on this side, I actually have my pressure washer kit. So because I have a mountain bike and then my mountain bike sits on here, it means that I can like hose it down and stuff, and it's also really good for like muddy boots and things as well. So I'll just take out that water, put the little filter in, and then I just jet wash it all down. It's the same or a similar type of system which runs off a 12 volt. So as you can see, the cable's just here. I've run a cable up and through, and then it just gets plugged into that same fridge point up there, that 12 volt barrel in the wall. And then for a shower, it's a very similar system. So I'll put a little tarp from hook to hook up here, so I've got a bit of a privacy screening. And then again, I'll plug in my electrical point from my travel shower into my 12 volt, which then draws water up from using a pump from my water barrel unit. And then I've got a little sticky head, which is a Velcro little sticky head, and that will stick on the top of my van, so I can just stand underneath my van like this and it will spray water on me. What I do need is a hot water shower, because at the moment I've only got cold water. So that's the next little thinking point of I need to think about how to plan to do that. Underneath, as you can see, there's lots and lots of wires, so I'm just going to quickly kind of talk you through what those wires are. Okay, so this is my Probate leisure battery. It's 130 amp and it's run by a split charge system from Durek. So basically, where these cables disappear, there's a positive and a negative, which runs up to my van's engine battery. So when the van is running, it's charging the leisure battery, and when the van's not running and I'm parked up for a couple of days, it doesn't draw from it. Underneath here you can see I've got a 4-way fuse, so it's not as complicated as it kind of looks underneath here, I'd definitely say. Basically all those different fuses then run off the 2-core cabling. One as you can see, runs up here from my leisure battery to my 1500 watt inverter. So this I actually picked up from inside a canal boat. So this is reclaimed and reused as well. It just works by having this little plug on the side, and then I flip the switch on, and as you can see there's a little green on light that happens just here, and what happens is it then runs up to this circuit up here. So that's actually 3-core cable, USBs here as well. And then we talked a little bit earlier about my 12-volt barrel here, which powers the mini fridge. It can power the shower. It also powers the jet washer, which is brilliant. And then here are my 2 circuits for my lights as well, just there. And then the only thing left to kind of talk about is my night heater. So I get asked about, oh, do you have any heating in the van? Well, if you check my highlights, you'll see that I've actually got really good insulation in here, because when I stripped it all out, I originally used lamb's wool and some sound deadening and stuff, and I didn't really have a clue, so I did those 2 first, and then was like, right, I'll put the boards on, measured all the boards, and then did the board in, put some vinyl down on the floor, took it away to Scotland, and then realised it was so cold. I felt so cold that first night. It was like -3 on the side of the lock, so I vowed to myself to put more insulation in. So I then came back and carpeted and stuff, and then made extra things like the cladding on the roof, and then decided that when I was going to go to Norway, it was a solid investment to have a night heater, because some of the temperatures would have been way past sub-10 whilst I was out there in the mountains. So the night heater does have an electric point as well, so that's another thing that takes from the electric to turn it off and on. So it's got a little control panel. So I managed to do all the electrics, I insulated it, I've basically done everything in here. I've done all the woodwork, I've done all the joining, I've made all the units, I've made all the curtains and things as well. Oh, we didn't talk about the curtains. The curtains are just up here, which partition the cab from the back. It's also for privacy. So yeah, and I managed to do all of that for underneath £1,000, and I think I've saved a lot of money by using refurbished wood. I've used donated materials like the kitchen counter worktop, like the carpet here was from Al. My friend Emily helped with the discount on the flooring, which was brilliant. My friend James helped me with the electrics and stuff. And then Andy helped me fit the roof, because it's really hard trying to screw a roof with 1 pair of hands. I did try twice, but I definitely needed spare hands on those days. So I'm really grateful to my friends who helped and stuff. My parents live in different countries, but I'm sure if they were here at the time when I converted it a couple of years ago, they would have helped out if they could. But yeah, so it just, for me, is a personal project. It's customized exactly to what I want, and it's my little teeny van.